Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of RipNRiff here on the Twitter and YouTube RipNRiff Network. No longer live on Facebook. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it over there. But we still got content over there. So if you're a Facebook person, please, give us a follow, like over there, or even over here on Twitter, YouTube, wherever I happen to be watching. Myself at Pucking Thoughts and the man to my right at Mr. Jared Moore. It is a very hot day in both of our necks of the woods. I am sitting at 107.9 degrees right now. How about you?
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. Fortunately, it's not that hot in New York. We had a little bit of a heat wave last week, but it's only 81 today. So only 81 in the first week of July. I will gladly sign up for that.
Yeah, well, this heat wave is supposed to break tonight. So my electric bill will certainly appreciate that once temperatures drop down. But temperatures have been heating up in the NHL this week with free agency. We got a lot of hockey packs we're going to open up today. A lot to talk about. Jared was a guest on Total Hockey Now yesterday, so please go give that a check out if you want to talk about, or hear our thoughts on pretty much the entire free agency process, especially the Devils with Jared as well. You can see that Devils hat there, but going to be doing some hockey packs there. You know what? While we're here, why don't we let's just get the pack ripping lineup out of the way because we got a jam-packed show.
Baby.
Let's do it. So we said we're going to do some hockey to celebrate free agency. So I've got some 2022 National Hockey Card Day USA edition packs. Looking for Trevor Zegras, Cole Caulfield rookies, and then you can see the Stars and Stripes, American Icons, rookie moments, mascots, little subsets there. And hey, it is 4th of July Eve. Tomorrow is Independence Day. Got to keep the American theme going. I got some 1994 Team USA basketball Skybox pack there. We're going to open up, you can see Dream Play, Portraits, Gold variants. Just going to be cool to take a trip down memory lane, one of those early 90s USA basketball teams. Jared, what do you got today?
Yeah, we're going 2023-24 Hockey Upper Deck Extended Series. Looking for some of those young gun cards. You can see them on the screen there. Some of the top rookies in the league, like Logan Cooley, Adam Fantilli, Simone Nemec. If you remember on a previous episode of RipNRiff, I was a little perturbed that I still hadn't gotten a Simone Nemec card in my possession. But it's possible. I mean, I bought 3 packs here, so it's possible I pull one. And if I don't, we're going to get a first from the show. I'm going to go right on eBay and I'm going to buy one.
So when you mentioned that, that you didn't have a Nemec card, you were like, we'll say miffed, perturbed. Those are good, adjectives. We don't get an Nemec Young Guns today. Where is that going to escalate to?
I think I'll be more excited. Like, I don't expect to pull a Simone Nemec Young Guns card. I'm not expecting it. So if I actually pull one and it's provided like it's in good shape, the corners aren't dinged up or anything like that, like I'll actually probably be more excited for it just because like I don't want to have to go on eBay and spend $20 for a rookie card. Like I'll do it, but I really don't want to have to do it,
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to get the natural pull, not the go out and hunt it. It's like hunting with a shotgun versus a hunting rifle. Like going out and buying the individual card is like hunting with a shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. It's the chase of the thrill.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the thrill of the chase. Excuse me, I can't speak.
It works both ways. Chase of the thrill of the chase. Hey, it works both ways. So yeah, there's the pack ripping lineup, and we got an I Love Loosey today, but we can't start any RipNRiff without our leadoff segment, which we love to do, which is entitled
It's time to kick things off on RipNRiff with
my Rip and Rant.
Thanks, Dave.
So Jared is not ranting at today. He's going to replace that with something else. So today's a solo rant. So let me kick it off here. And this is a guy that's been in our crosshairs for a few times here, but it needs mentioning again. Former Arizona Coyotes owner Alex Marullo. It's good to at least
real scumbag,
real piece of POS. Good to put the former in there because obviously Utah Hockey Club. We talked about them on the trade deadline yesterday. Look what happens when you have an owner that actually is willing to spend money on the team. The Utah Hockey Club goes out, pretty much redoes their whole blue line. Back in Arizona, we know the Coyotes are gone, but it might be over for even their AHL team, the Tucson Roadrunners, who we mentioned a few weeks ago here, where the Tucson board voted to keep the Roadrunners there for another 3 years, no problem. They were going to play a handful of games up in, up at the Coyotes' old arena, Mullet Arena, or somewhere up in Tempe. And now we find out this week that he is building an arena in Reno as part of like an entertainment complex, and that he owns the Roadrunners. and he is contemplating moving them up there. So Arizona hockey as a whole, the clock is ticking. It's already gone at an NHL level, and now it might be just totally gone from the top 2 professional levels. And from one side, I just want to apologize to all the real Arizona hockey fans out there. You in no way deserve this. This is what happens when you just let a moron run a team and say, my solution is to get an arena on a site and not do any sort of research on whether there's enough water to facilitate that. So that which just boggles my mind. Like even if it's not a hockey arena, you still need water, but especially a hockey arena. Anyway. So fine, all that happens, foster child goes till it gets adopted by like the best family possible, goes to Utah. At least they still have the Tucson Roadrunners. Now they're not even gonna have that anymore. So like, you know what, Alex Marullo, like go see the Grand Canyon one last time, because you're not going to be allowed back in the state of Arizona if you actually move the Roadrunners up to Reno. And listen, Reno gets a hockey team. They're probably a city that's worthy of it being an AHL town. So good to them if that happens. But yeah, man, Alex Marullo, once you leave that state line, across that state line, do not go back. Go see the Grand Canyon now.
Tell us how you really feel about Alex Marullo.
Or, as Jared mentioned before the show, maybe drive into the Grand Canyon, but then you ruin the beauty. Maybe there's some environmental impact with the car crashing at the bottom. Maybe you hurt an innocent animal that just happened to be walking by at the wrong time.
What, Wile E. Coyote?
What would be better if he would reenact Homer Simpson trying to clear Springfield Gorge on a skateboard. Get the car. That's what we want.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a real crummy situation there for Arizona. But put it this way, I mean, if there is a positive bit of news out of this whole Alex Marullo situation and him renouncing his rights to the Coyotes, I'm sure Gary Bettman, he's probably not in the physical shape anymore to do a cartwheel, but I'm sure he did a cartwheel in his office when he finally learned he's not going to have to deal with this guy anymore.
He did one in his head. He imagined himself doing one in his office over there on 47th and 6th Avenue, a few floors above the NHL store, which I have not been in years. So
no, I have not either. I also haven't been to the Starbucks in the NHL store in years either. So is it in the NHL store or is it adjacent to it? I guess it's technically both. It's
like right behind it, but it's like you can still walk from one to the other, like through a little side if they haven't.
Yeah, I consider that inside it. Yeah.
It's there. It's around the corner, but it's inside. So yeah, there's my rant for the week. Just Alex Marullo just doing shitty things again. Get the hell out of Arizona. I hope you enjoy Nevada.
Well, speaking of shitty things, I've been playing around my laptop. I don't think the East Coast camp is going to be active today, unfortunately. So we're
I did see it drop on the backside, so we're okay.
So kind of is what it is. Instead, I'm going to do show and tell.
Nice.
Which we've never really done before on Rip and Rant, but I'm excited to do this. So last Friday, me being the giant nerd I am, met up with a bunch of fellow Devils fans that I'm friendly with through Discord to watch the first round of the draft at a local watering hole.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Reds in Carlstadt. One of the guys, I'll shout him out. His name's Jake. Jake's the man. But he put together a little draft preview, Jake style. Now, Jake has a very interesting sense of humor. And I mean, why wouldn't you when this is your headshot? So shout out to him.
I just admire the commitment with the binders and the printouts and everything. I mean,
this is the greatest.
Some business pop copy, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly popped for this when I saw this. So, like, you have the nice breakdown of each profile with the little J Fresh card paper clip to each page. I mean, I saw this and I'm just dying. But like, I mean, obviously, it's good stuff. It's interesting content if you're not familiar with the prospects, which I'm not, and I'll probably never actually go back and read through this. But this will probably be a nice binder for me to eventually use to keep like my income tax information in. So shout out to Jake for the free binder. But my favorite part of it is at the very end when he's going through, in the event of a trade, here are some names that Luke thought maybe targets. Any issues, please bring up with him. Luke's one of the other guys in the Discord. Please, Fitz, I did spend 3 hours on this for nothing. Nice little shot of Tom Fitzgerald there when he still had hair.
Yeah, that hair has gone quickly over the last couple of years. Not that I should talk, but
that is gone. And obviously goes through some of the big trade targets and every hockey fan's wish list. Like But the top of it is my favorite part. There's a little description of the player. So, like, for example, Brady Shithead Kachuk. You know how I feel about shitheads in hockey. I use that as a term of endearment.
It's a
So,
positive.
like, yeah, it's a positive. Like, and I would love Brady Kachuk on my hockey team. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like, you go through that, and other potential trade targets. So, like, Pavel not Zaka Bushnevich would have been a great trade target before he signed that 8-year, a 6-year, $8 million extension.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one's funny. It just says, "LOL, no thanks" for Marty Netches.
Yeah, not the price he was going to cost the trade, but it looks like Carolina's probably going to keep him now because I think they need him.
Right. Kyle Connor, or perhaps even better described, is this guy even on the market?
I mean, it shouldn't be, but we'll see. I mean, Winnipeg.
Let's see. Little Nicky Ellers, from your Winnipeg Jets. Let's see. Rucker McGroarty. He was a big name leading into the draft because he might not necessarily sign his ELC with the Winnipeg Jets. That remains to be seen. But Rutgers University, go Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, nice campus there. Multiple campuses for Rutgers.
Yep. So I mean, I love this draft guide. To me, this is the only draft guide you'll ever need. And if you would like my personal copy of this, I will sign it and I will send it to you for the low price of $420.69.
It's a nice round figure there.
A very specific figure, but you know what? This is the type of content you're going to need when you're learning about these draft prospects, especially a couple of years from now when they're all, basically ready to be in the league. You're going to want this information. So,
yeah. And you can act now or you can, have regret later. So it's up to you.
Forever hold your peace. So shout out to my boy, Jake.
All right. So there is the debut of Show and Tell, which I'll have to make an intro for at some point in lieu of a Rip and Rant from Jared this week. Now, before we get to pack ripping, one more quick thing. We got a little I Love Loosey. There we go.
Yeah, in a way, this is more show and tell, but I like to pick up random loose cards every so often on the old eBay machine. And how about this triple autograph New Jersey Devils card with Zach Parise, Patrick Elias, and Brian Giunta?
I mean, you're talking like 2000 era, great Devils there trio.
Yeah, like 2006, 2007 peak Devils right there.
There you go.
28 out of 35. It's got the sticker for all three of them with the autograph. You can kind of see it when I tilt it at the right angle.
Oh, yeah,
but how about that? Getting 3 autographs for the price of 1. And you'd be surprised to know that I really didn't pay all that much for that. It turns out there's not a lot of demand for Zach Parise and Brian Giunta autographs in 2024.
No, not at all.
So I certainly caught the corner of the market on that one. Here's the back of the card, and just certifies that it's officially official. The autographs are authentic and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to try to find some more Devils cards like this, where it's like multiple guys autographing it, because I think that's pretty cool.
That's cool. I mean, obviously it's not one of a kind. It's one of 35, but I do like when you get like teammates around the same era, like anything like that. Like, it's always cool to have that in your collection. That's always one that's something like that always like pops out when you're flipping through. It's always pretty cool. Now, speaking of cards, I think it's time to start ripping. What do you say? We're about 15 minutes in there. All right, you're gonna go first here. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's hope that we get some of those like that Simone Nemec card that I was talking about.
Absolutely.
But we will start with one of the more interesting teams from the free agency period because of the player they lost in Steven Stamkos. Well, we got Andrei Vasilevsky, his now former teammate. But yeah, very interesting situation there with the longtime captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning taking his talents to Nashville.
Nashville did a good job. They certainly made their upgrades, adding him, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea. So 3 big adds there. Tampa basically essentially replaces Stamkos with Gensel. And we'll see how it goes. And they overhaul the back end. They traded Sergachev as well. So,
all right, here's a guy who had a pretty good year on a championship team and secured the bag with a different team. How about Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's newly signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Don't really love that new contract that he has. I much prefer him on the shorter prove-it deal. But, he had a pretty good year for Florida. So credit to him.
And I know Chris Murray on Total Hockey Now yesterday said, well, who's going to move the puck on that blue line besides Morgan Riley? If it's going to be OEL, he's going to have to be the other one for better or worse, because there's not many mobile guys otherwise at the moment.
I believe you mentioned earlier the Utah Hockey Club revamping their defense. It looks like this is going to be one of the odd men out, Travis Dermott.
Yeah, I mean they pretty much locked up their blue line between trades and signings. They've got their top 6, so yeah, probably not going to be in the mix.
I'm not sure where he signed. I know he signed somewhere. I want to say Colorado or maybe Columbus. Jack Johnson, longtime NHL defenseman.
Jack Johnson did just sign somewhere. I think it was back in Columbus. Let me pull that up. Let me see. So let's see here. Where Carolina? No. Go to the next card.
Interesting card here for the insert. This is the Upper Deck UT3 technology fit. I don't know, but it's interesting the way this card is cut on the top here.
Oh yeah, okay.
But you got Zach Benson from the Buffalo Sabres. Interesting young player on that team.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be an interesting team this year because they were a team people thought would maybe challenge for a playoff spot last year. Obviously, that fell short with some goaltending issues. Pretty much the same team this year running it back. They do have Bowen Byram there on the blue line to help, so we'll see.
Young Guns card, player I've never heard of, unfortunately, and not a lot of players in the NHL named Angus, but we got Angus Crookshank from the Ottawa Senators.
Let's see what I could pull up on Angus Crookshank from Elite Prospects here. Belleville Senators, 24-year-old from north of Vancouver. I don't know too much about him. Great name.
I always love these Upper Deck canvas cards, just the feel of them, and the actual canvas feeling. And this is an interesting one for me to pull. Well, obviously with his newfound Devils ties, got Jacob Markstrom.
I mean, I don't love the canvas cards. I think they're cool, but there are other things I like better. But I mean, that's a great looking goalie card. B, great timing because the Devils just got him. So yeah, that's a penny sleever right there.
And this is a shot from the Heritage Classic. So he's got the custom mask there. It almost looks like those taupes that they put on.
So it's almost got like a Skeletor vibe to it. But yeah,
that's sort of what he went. That's sort of what he went with. But it looks like a knitted sweater.
Yeah, that's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's as much as I like a goalie to kind of just have one mask that's their identity, like a la Martin Brodeur or something like that. It's cool when they do special ones for Winter Classics and things like that.
One of the players on the so-called Iser plan, Justin Holl, with the Detroit Red Wings. We bring up the Iser plan because I mentioned before we got in the air that they just signed Vladimir Tarasenko 2 years, $4.75 million.
And we just going back and forth, I think we cracked the Iser plan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Iser plan is let's collect all the guys that the Rangers picked up the last couple of years during all their failed playoff runs. You got Andrew Kopp, you got Eric Gustafson. Thank you for making sure I didn't get it wrong that time. Patrick Kane, Tyler Mott, and now you have Vlad Tarasenko. And you're going to have a future former Ranger in Dylan Larkin when the Rangers trade for him in 5 years when he's washed. So there you go.
And then, you could even take it a step further. Jack Roslovic's out there, so I guess he's going to be compelled to sign in Detroit now.
Well, I mean, he is a Columbus, Ohio guy, though. That's the thing. Is he going to go on the other side of that rivalry? I guess you have to when you're beggars can't be choosers on, once you get to the middle of July, you need a job.
And, listen, the way this is going with the Red Wings taking Ranger castoffs, he doesn't have a choice. He was a Rangers deadline acquisition that didn't work out for them, so he has to sign in Detroit now.
Yep. Solid player here in terms of just a solid role depth player who's managed to stick around the league for a bunch of years. Vladislav Nemestikov here with the Winnipeg Jets. Looks like he's celebrating a goal or something here. And very cool shot of him there.
When you use the term Swiss Army knife kind of player, that's the guy right there.
Yep. Player I don't believe is signed anywhere at the moment. Kyler Yamamoto here with the Seattle Kraken. Nice little shot in the background there with the little fire going off in the background.
That's got to be from their outdoor game. Yeah, you can see the Winter Classic patch right there.
Yep.
So yeah, that's definitely walking out for intros.
Player that I don't think is going to have a lot of suitors just because of the type of player he is. John Klingberg here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, offensive defenseman, but just an atrocious defensive defenseman. I don't think he's the biggest guy either. I think he's a smaller defenseman. And, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think one of the things we're seeing in the league, especially coming off this Florida Panthers Stanley Cup championship, is like, the 200 hockey men are going for size again. Like they want big boys on the blue line.
So he's 6'3", 190, but I mean,
he's bigger than I thought then.
But defensively, he's still, I mean, the game is passing him by in that regard. I mean, he couldn't stick on the Maple Leafs blue line. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, he's a guy, I think that, if you add him, exactly what you're doing is he's a third pairing defenseman that's going to run your second power play, and it's going to play 9 to 11 minutes a night, and that's probably it.
But I think we're seeing more and more guys like that just get phased out of the league. Like guys like him who are like all offense, no defense guys. I think guys like him and like Tony DeAngelo and, I guess like PK Subban when he got phased out of the league, and guys like that. I just don't think they have much time for him once they turn like 32.
Gostisbehere's another one, although he's still pretty quick.
He just got a 3-year deal with Carolina though, so who knows?
Now, I didn't know this. One of John Klingberg's nicknames, according to Hockey Reference, is the Ghost of Gothenburg. Cool nickname.
I mean, that's a badass nickname. I would love to be referred as like the ghost of anything.
The Ghost of Rockland County.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work the same.
No, it doesn't really have the nice spiel to it. I'll have to pick a town around here that like has like a cool name, because like the Ghost of like Garnerville doesn't really work.
Oh. Ghost of Goshen.
No, we'll come up with one. And last but not least, I actually mentioned this player before we came on, so it's cool to pull him here. Leon Draisaitl, in line for a max contract. I would think that the Oilers are going to have no problem actually giving it to him, but I mean, it hasn't gotten done yet. And until the deal's done, like he's going to be out there in all sorts of trade rooms. I'm not saying they're going to trade him this offseason because that's just counterproductive. And the Oilers are in the business of trying to win a championship, but like, I mean, that's also a guy you can't let walk out the door for nothing either. So like at some point you're going to have to shit or get off the pot there.
And looking at their cap space right now, according to Cap Friendly, which is a phrase we're not going to be able to say too much longer, they are minus $2.5 million in the hole.
Yeah, they really could use.
They're in the red.
I was going to say, they really could use is Evander Kane to sign to retire, but I don't think that's going to happen. They need someone to take that Evander Kane contract off their books because that's killing them right now.
That's $5.1 million. So even if you
not to mention Darnell Nurse, that's a whole other thing.
So so what's Nurse's contract here? He is 9.25 million.
Yeah, for like the rest of the time, or like 6 more years, whatever.
Yeah. If they can't keep Draisaitl, that's the contract that hurt him.
Yep. Ivan Barbashev, first card in the next pack. Very cool shot of him here celebrating probably a goal. Maybe it's with them celebrating the cup. I can't really tell. I don't see the patch there on the jersey. It's going to be really interesting to see what Vegas does, though, after losing Jonathan Marchessault and Michael Adamio and William Carrier and some of the other guys they've lost. Like Vegas is not the type of team that's just going to be like, nah, we're good. We're going to stand pat. So I'm sure they're cooking up something to replace Jonathan Marchessault. I don't know what it is. I mean, I kind of speculated yesterday on Total Hockey Now that, like, to me, the guy would be, that's the Mitch Marner spot is Vegas, because that would be the most Vegas move, but I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, because I mean, if Toronto didn't just sign a bunch of defensemen, that would be that there's your bit, Marner for somebody. But
even if they did, like, we could make the trade right now in the air. Like the trade would probably be something along like Marner for Shea Theodore, a first round pick, and a player somewhere down the line, like maybe like Nick Waugh or something like that. It's like, boom, there you go. There's your Mitch Marner trade.
I mean, they bring in Victor Olofsson. They're trying to fit in what they can. I mean, they after they added Hurdle, you got Eichel, you got Hurdle, you got Stone. Those are your big three right there up front, and those are the guys that are gonna have to carry them.
All right, we got a couple guys from your favorite team. We'll start with the guy who's just cooked. I'm sorry, Nick Bonino. Here, falling on his ass. Didn't even make it the entire season, but pretty good pro for a long time. Stanley Cup champion. Unfortunately, his best playing days are behind him. A player whose best playing days are not behind him, he's still got plenty left in the tank. Artemi Panarin.
So
card I just dropped.
Yeah, but I mean, with the All-Star jersey there. So I was when I went to the Rangers Sharks game this year. That was one of the last games Bonino played, and it was just painfully obvious how he was just that much slower than the rest of the team. So I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, Panarin, I know he disappeared in the playoffs, but listen, regular season did everything we wanted. So we'll see what the Rangers do next year. But I mean, obviously with the Trubisky contract situation, their hands are pretty tied. They add Riley Smith via trade. That was pretty much all Drury could do. Hopefully that's a lightning in a bottle kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said yesterday on Total Hockey, I don't know how that Trubisky situation is going to wind up playing out. I mean, the fact that it's been this public, it's tough to see him going back there. But I mean, he's got the no trade clause, and I don't feel like he should be vilified for wanting to have that sort of say in his career.
It's frustrating, but it's his right.
He's got to do his best for him and his family and his young kids. So
exactly,
credit to him, I guess. Alex Kerfoot, who is still a member of the Utah Hockey Club as of this recording. So shout out to him.
Good to see that.
Former Devils draft pick, by the way, Alex Kerfoot. Didn't sign with them.
Yes. He's been bounced around the league. He's a journeyman.
All right, let's play a quick game here. I don't know if you know the answer to this off the top of your head, but I feel like we might have mentioned him yesterday on Total Hockey Now. Can you tell me who Patrick Maroon signed with without looking it up?
Chicago Blackhawks. They're winning the Stanley Cup this year. He said it yesterday. Go get Pete Mrazek for Vezina. It's happening.
How about that? Another player who just switched teams. This one signing with the Ottawa Senators. Good longtime pro, David Perron. Nice black diamond card there.
Love the black diamond. Love the black diamond. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, that is okay. I'm going to go collect a paycheck for a couple of years, probably put in another 20, 25 goals on a bad team, but I'm going to get playing time.
Yep. I like this card. Nice little rookie card here. It says in the back Beehive. I don't really quite get what Beehive is, but it's another Zach Benson card. So, but I like the border, the frame there. Maybe you have a little more on that, but there's the back of the card.
Yeah, that's your second Zach Benson pull of the day. Yeah, Beehive is like one of like the subsets or insert sets that they do, like variants or whatever. It's cool, but it's one of the many they do.
Another upper deck canvas card, Jason Robertson here celebrating a goal against the St. Louis Blues, and Joel Hofer, I guess, looking behind him for the puck there. Nice shot of the puck there, by the way, as well. So
yeah, that's like literally after it crossed the line.
Yep. Anthony Beauvillier, who just signed with, I want to say, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
That is correct.
Kind of bounced around the last few years. That's another team that Pittsburgh. I'm not really sure what their end game is here, other than they're sort of like straddling that line of we want to contend with Sidney Crosby, but they didn't really do a whole lot this offseason. They kind of spent all their money last year, and it looks like they made a mistake spending that money because they gave Ryan Graves a bunch of years, and he was not very good, and they gave Tristan Jarry a bunch of years, and he's not very good either.
Anthony Beauvillier will always be remembered for taking his shot at Anna Kendrick on social media. That's what Anthony Beauvillier will be remembered for more than his career.
You know what? Shout out to him.
Yeah. Didn't work out for him, but he shot a shot.
It's something he has in common with another hockey player that we have referenced on the show before. JT Compher with the part of the Yzer plan there in Detroit. As far as I know, has never played for the Rangers, but hey, there's always time for that in the future, I suppose.
Always time. Good, another Swiss Army kind of guy.
Yeah, pretty good center. I mean, he's probably a little overpaid for his role. He's probably really more of like on a good team, he's probably a third center. But on a team that's not as good like Detroit, he's probably going to be the number 2.
There you go. That's an accurate assessment.
Marcus Johansson, former Devil, here with the Minnesota Wild. Love those Wild jerseys there. A little shout out to the North Stars there.
And apparently they're going to be going back to those colors semi soon, which is nice.
Has that been confirmed? Because I thought I saw like Michael Russo report that like that wasn't the case.
I saw that too. I have a feeling that we weren't ready to reveal that yet, whoever leaked it, and now we're going to pretend like we're not doing it, and then when it's far enough away, we'll just be like, okay, we're going to do it.
All right, well, let me know how that goes. Okay. And last but not least, in this pack, a player who just retired, but we're going to salute the man for having a pretty good career. Here's a nice role player down the lineup. How about Andrew Cogliano?
He was the Iron Man for a while.
He was, and I believe he was on that Avs team that won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. So
I think I had him on as a guest on one of Mad Dog Russo's. Like, remember, he used to do the first day of the playoffs from the NHL store. I believe that was one of the guests that ended up getting booked for him on one of those years.
that's interesting because like he doesn't normally talk to players.
That was the only reason he would talk to, because of the Iron Man streak. He's like, who the hell's Cogliano? I'm like, just he's the NHL Iron Man, and you just go down that path with it, and it was fine.
All right, last pack, and we're going to start with, we already mentioned him already, but the newest member of the New York Rangers, Riley Smith.
Yeah, we talked. I mean, he's going to get a chance with Zibanejad and Kreider on that top line, and hopefully lightning in a bottle, like I said earlier. But I mean, if your whole offseason improvement is hinging on the addition of Riley Smith, it's going to be a long summer.
I believe this player is still out there in free agency. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this one. James Van Riemsdyk.
He is not signed.
He had an okay year last year with Boston. I mean, his problem right now is like he's just in his mid-30s. He doesn't really have the boots anymore. But if you're looking for like a third line guy who could pop in like 15 goals, like he could do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's still out there. It's definitely going to be a consolation prize for somebody, probably like a bottom feeder team, that's just looking to fill a role a little bit. That's probably where he ends up.
Justin Schultz with the Seattle Kraken. Again, a shot from the Winter Classic there. So now has a lot more company on that blue line with them signing Brandon Montour to that 7-year deal.
Speaking of the Winter Classic, it's Blackhawks Blues this year, and we knew the Blackhawks. I mean, listen, the Blackhawks have Bedard, so that's marketable. But I mean, the Blues, they could have picked a better team than that. I mean, we knew the Blues were not going to be a good team coming into this year.
I think they tried to pick a team that Chicago had a realistic chance of beating.
That's a very good point, and that's probably what it was.
And they are the rival. There is the whole Chicago-St. Louis rivalry with the Cubs and the Cardinals.
And then they're rivals too, yeah.
And they're just not that good a team. I mean, St. Louis is kind of stuck because they have all these guys on their blue line with no trade clauses, and they all stink, and none of them want to get traded.
They're just good enough to be bad, not bad enough to be really bad.
Right. So, like, in that respect, it's almost like, well, why are you extending Pavel Buchnevich? Because, you kind of need to rebuild. But, like, the problem is they can't rebuild because the second you start turning the team down, they're going to fire the GM.
Right. So,
and he doesn't want to get fired. Like, he wants to keep his job. So,
yeah, so something's coming in St. Louis in the next couple of years for sure.
Right. And also, like, Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas are young enough where, in theory, like, they could retool and they'll still be in their prime 3 or 4 years down the road. So, Alexei Protas from the Washington Capitals. I don't want to say my Washington Capitals, but I think they'll be feisty good like they were last year. And, good is a very relative term because they weren't good. They just happened to make the playoffs.
I don't think you'll root harder for a metropolitan team that's not the Devils than the Capitals this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that respect, because they made me look good, but also the Devils might need that playoff spot, so I shouldn't root too hard for them. Cam York with the Philadelphia Flyers. I think we've pulled a Cam York rookie card on this show before, so
I believe so as well.
Shout out to him. A Black Diamond rookie card here. I believe he finished 5th or 6th in the Calder voting. Luke Evangelista with the Nashville Predators had a really good rookie year.
And, we talked about the signings the Predators made earlier. I mean, there's a possibility he can end up on a line with Stamkos, and you'll learn from him, We'll see.
Worst players to learn from.
Exactly.
One of the very best players in the NHL. Another one of their, subset cards here. Austin Matthews with the Maple Leafs here. Love the font on the bottom there. Love the look on the back of the card.
It's going to be awesome when the Leafs get to the playoffs again next year, but don't do anything.
It's going to be awesome when they keep Marner all year, and then they extend them.
Yeah, but you want to see riots in a hockey town? That might be your next possible one right there.
Let's see. We have another Upper Deck canvas. This one with Anders Lee with the Islanders. I did like the Islanders getting what's his face?
Duclair.
Anthony Duclair, yeah. They needed to add more speed to the lineup. And that's one of the few teams in the NHL where you could sign a guy who's 29, 30, however old he is, and be like, hey, Islanders youth movement. Here we go.
And the thing what the Islanders have going from this is what players have said over the years. When guys get to be in their 30s and they're settling down and having families, the Islanders is actually a very good franchise to play for you. Living out in Long Island, like for that, if that's what your goal is or what your next step in like life is, it's not a bad place to go. They draft Cole Eiserman too, who fell in the draft a little bit, and he is not a defensive player. He's one of the best shots in the draft. So I mean, I'm not going to say 18th overall pick's going to make the Islanders out of camp, but you probably will see him at some point this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a one-trick pony. I mean, he's very good at that one trick, which is scoring goals. But I think the problem with players like that is you're going to have to be able to show you can do other stuff to kind of earn the trust of a coaching staff. And now maybe the Islanders don't care. Maybe they feel like they have enough structure in the rest of their lineup where they can get by with that type of player in their lineup. But like we just saw the Devils trade Alex Holtz, who is basically a very similar-ish type of player where he's got that one trick. He's got a good shot, but because he doesn't do all the other hockey stuff all that well, they just gave up on a guy they drafted 7th overall a couple years ago.
They're going to put him on a line with Barbashev and Eichel, and he's going to
see. Like I think you could go either way. I think Holtz is a guy. Like I think. What do you think is more likely? You think it's more likely 2 years from now he'll have 30 goals in a season, or that he'll have played his last NHL game and he'll be like heading off to the Swedish league?
More likely is the latter, but I do think it's somewhere between that. I think he may be a 20 goal guy, best case scenario at this point. But
I think it's two very different extremes. But like I don't think there's much of a middle ground. I think it's one or the other.
Well, if he's going to get going, Eichel's a guy that'll get him going.
All right, we'll go through the last couple of cards here real quick. We already talked Kraken. Here's Jamie Alexiak.
Yep,
got a lot of Kraken in these 3-packs. Stanley Cup champion Evan Rodriguez, perfect role guy for a team like that. Perfect, tough to play against, pest, pain in the ass type of player that you love to have on a championship caliber team. Erik Karlsson, I don't know what the Penguins' plan is, but still a very good offensive defenseman. And last but not least, a guy who did secure the bag. He just got a contract extension, former Devil, now with the Calgary Flames, Yegor Sharangovich.
I guess he's part of the future for them because, I mean, if things are going to get bad there before they get good, and he just signed, you said, about a 5-year deal. So I guess he's part of the plan.
5 years, 5.85, something like that. So, I mean, I'll never hate on a guy for securing the bag, but that might be one where, that contract might not age all that great, only because, like, you're paying him off of him having, shooting like 20% this year. And, like, guys like, goal scorers can be very streaky. He's that type of player. So it could very easily look like a really bad contract in a year or two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he's going to be locked into that top 6 for better or worse. So, I mean, Calgary's going to be very much in the draft lottery next year. We'll see but I mean, they got to have somebody dressed in that top 6. So we did plenty of hockey there with Jared. I'm going to continue the hockey here just for a couple of quick packs here. We got, remember when I was upset about I got basically the same exact 3 packs on hockey card day this year?
Oh, yeah.
So I went out on eBay like in a fit and like saw somebody.
Oh, that reminds me. I have to buy that Simone Nemec card.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't get it. So I went out on eBay and I saw a few packs of the 2022 hockey card day. So we're going to give those up. We're going to give a few of those open here and see if there's any teams or players we haven't covered yet. This is from the American Icon series. Here we got Adam Deadmarsh, one of the underrated American hockey players. He's on Team
also
USA.
A fantastic name. I love Adam Deadmarsh.
That is a hockey name right there. Okay, so we got it, and let's continue here with the historical players. We got John LeClair from the American Icon series, former member of the Legion of Doom. I love LeClair. I can never buy a Flyer jersey. I was a big fan of his. Now, a guy that's on the move, that was on the move in free agency and got paid, Jake Gensel. Talked about him earlier on the show. Picture there with the Penguins.
Yeah, he very much secured that bag. So good for Jake Gensel. Tampa, I think it's a little weird with Tampa that how they've treated Stamkos over the years versus how they've treated Victor Hedman. And I forget what show I was listening to that pointed this out. Like basically like every contract negotiation with Stamkos has been like pulling teeth, while everyone with Hedman be like, oh yeah, we'll do your new deal in a year out, no problem. So,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I think the Lightning, given Hedman the exact same contract that Stamkos signed, is a little bit of a middle finger to Stamkos on the way out the door.
Absolutely. It's definitely a thumbing nose kind of thing for sure. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the beef is there. With Stamkos, he's the best. You want to say he's the best player in franchise history over St. Louis or LeCavalier? I'm certainly not going to
make an argument.
So, I don't know what the problem is there, but all the guy did was help put your franchise on the map after, you got that first cup with St. Louis and LeCavalier. A guy who will be on the move at some point, we're just waiting for it to happen, Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I'm not really sure when he's going to be on the move, though. That's kind of the thing. I feel like he's sort of lost favor there in Anaheim, but Anaheim's still under the cap floor right now. So trading Trevor Zegras would be counterproductive. That now there's easily ways to get over the cap floor. I'm sure if Anaheim called a bunch of teams and they're like, look, we're willing to take on your bad contracts. I'm sure a lot of teams would be looking to line up to dump some of their bad contracts on them, but. Yeah, a little bit too much of a one-dimensional player for my taste, unfortunately.
And let's be real, obviously when you're like a bad contract and you get traded to some random team, it's like, oh great, like where am I going to end up? Orange County, California is quite the place to end up if you're a player on a bad contract that's playing out the last couple of years. And if you stink and you get somehow sent down, you go to San Diego. Okay. Hey, there are worse places you could, wrap up a bad contract. We got Adam Fox here from the Rangers, the anchor of that blue line for years to come. Certainly can't say too much negative about him.
Are all these players Team America?
So these are, it looks so far, it's all American players. I don't know if it's going to be like that the whole way, if that was just one pack, but because there was a Canadian edition too. So let's see what we get here. It looks like this is all, yeah. Oh, so we have another. Let's hope this is not a repeat of the last hockey card day right out of the back. Okay. So far.
Oh, no.
Rest of the pack is not a repeat, thankfully. And it seems to be all American players. You're right. That's a part of the theme here. We got Sean McEachern, former great in the 80s and 90s there, pictured with the Bruins. We got Quentin Byfield, maybe takes that next step for LA next year. And here's a guy I know you're going to be happy to see, Mr. Jack Hughes.
Yeah, and Tom Fitzgerald had his press conference today, said Jack's on track to be healthy for opening day. So you get a healthy Jack Hughes back, you get a healthy Dougie Hamilton back, a healthy Timo Meier on top of all the stuff that they did this offseason. I mean, there's really no excuse for the Devils not to be a playoff team next year.
I'm not even going to say a playoff team. They need to be top 3 in the Metro because, the Rangers fine. They're the same team, so maybe expect them to be there. Carolina, we'll see. Jury's out, a little bit of a different look. We all said that third spot was a joke this year. The Devils have made enough improvements to firmly entrench themselves in one of those 3 spots, I think.
They should be.
All right, we'll do another pack here, and we'll see if we do one more of these, depending upon how repetitive this one is.
Oh, no, this is the Adam Dead Martian Adam Fox show.
Well, we've confirmed that it's not just American players in these packs because I got 2 here that aren't. Mr. Philipp Grubauer, of course, from Germany. We spoke about him earlier. And then probably a guy that gets overlooked as a really good defenseman is Moritz Seider from the Red Wings. We're going to finish these hockey packs because I have a feeling.
Yeah, Mo Seider, he's one of the guys that Detroit's building around. I'd be very curious to see what he gets on that next contract because I believe him and Lucas Raymond are both RFAs this year. So
we're getting a little repetitive here. We're going to finish the pack up. But just to go back to Mo Seider for a minute, that is one aspect of the Shanna plan that I think does, the Iser plan, not the Shanna plan. All those Red Wings from the early 2000s have their own plans as GMs now. Let's see. So we got a Byfield repeat, a McEachern repeat, a Zegras repeat, a Leclerc repeat, and then a guy who's still going in the NHL, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Did they really only put like 20 players in this line? I guess they figured most normal people only open 1 pack and they would never see any duplicates.
No, it's like a 60 card set. It's just like, I don't know how they package them in the box because when I took this year's, I literally went to the left side of the box, the middle of the box, and the end of the box. And I ended up with the same pack pretty much. This was just somebody I bought off of eBay, so I'm at the luck of the draw. Okay, so we got 1 fresh card in this pack, and we got a Byfield repeat, Gensel repeat, Mo Seider repeat, Sean McEachern repeat, but picture Mike Modano. All-star jersey.
Arguably the greatest American player to ever play.
Yeah.
He's certainly on that short list. So,
He man, like you know, that's the one Mike Babcock story that really upsets me. Though, when like he basically benched him when he went back to like, what was it? He was like going back to like Dallas, and he like benched him or something like that. Like basically, Babcock was like just a jerk to him in Detroit while he was there.
Mike Babcock might be an asshole. Oh, really? I had no idea.
Now, yeah, it's we've confirmed that he is. So that's the hockey portion of the 4th of July Eve edition of Total Hockey Now. Excuse me, Rip and Riff. We talk so much hockey that I slipped into Total Hockey Now mode. We got basketball. We're gonna do a little Team USA, not the Dream Team, the team that was after the Dream Team, 1994. If I get a Jake Gensel card in this pack, I'm gonna be pissed.
I didn't know he played basketball.
He probably wasn't even old enough that back then. All right, so out of the pack here, we got he wasn't on Dream Team number 1, but Joe Dumars there pictured for the 1994 team.
Nice. I can't wait till Ab Deadmarsh is the next card.
I swear I will. I'll just end the stream right now if that happens. All right, so now we got the Admiral himself, Mr. David Robinson, who was also on that. Who was on that 92 Dream Team.
Doesn't get much more American than that. Going to the Naval Academy and having the nickname the Admiral. I mean, he's just one of the all-time greats. By the way, I secured the Simone Nemec card.
Oh wow, that was quick. Good for you.
Yeah, I made an offer. Guy made a counter offer. I accepted it. So
it's nice when that happens. It's nice when the process goes back and forth and people are on their phone and they're checking, and that way you can just know if you're going to get it or not. All right, so we got another Joe Dumars card. This one here with him standing in front of what looks like a 5th grade backdrop from Picture Day.
Yes, didn't go with the lasers, unfortunately, or the woods.
I mean, it is Team USA. You got to go patriotic. If you're not going to go stripes, I guess you got to go stars, right? We'll go back-to-back Mark Price cards here. They're pictured with the Cavaliers, and here pictured on Team USA. I feel like his downtown prowess, he would have been an even better player in the modern NBA.
Yeah, probably was some. I mean, yeah, looking at how like Steph Curry has feasted throughout his career. I'm sure Mark Price would have had a very similar trajectory.
Now we got 2 more cards to go here. With 3 more cards to go. First, we got you. Speaking of shooters who would have benefited from today's game, Reggie Miller right there.
Yeah, one of the all-time great MSG villains. Oh, by the way, speaking of MSG villains, did you happen to see Friday Night SmackDown this past week?
I did not. I believe my niece, nephew, and my sister and brother-in-law went, though.
Right. Yeah, because it was in Madison Square Garden. And so they had Jalen Brunson in the crowd for that. And when they've done the show in the Garden before, they've brought out, like, Nick's antagonists to rile up the crowd. So a few years ago, if you remember, it was Trae Young.
That's right.
This year it was Tyrese Halliburton.
Anything that puts fire on that New York Philly rivalry is going to be a hit and going to be gold. So good on them.
New York, Indiana.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he got traded. That's I was thinking of Tyrese Maxey. Sorry, right. I got my
Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, I mean Tyrese Maxey might be the next one. You could probably get Tyrese Maxey.
Probably could.
Then again, he just signed for like $200 million, and now he might be too big time for it.
Maybe the window sailed on that. Now we got 3 more cards to go here. First, Derek Coleman, which I love those old Nets jerseys. That's the Nets era that I love.
I love that look so much.
That like almost powder blue, but a little darker than powder blue Nets jersey. Yeah, I mean Derek Coleman was a good player, never quite amounted to what they were hoping, but that's the era of Nets basketball that that got me in. So
I have a New Jersey Nets hat somewhere in the closet. I'm gonna have to dig it out. I'll have to wear it on a future edition of the show.
I need to get a Nets hat with like those colors. Now the last 2 cards here, we're going to talk about one of my favorite player of all time, Sean Kemp, pictured there with the Sonics. Bring the Sonics back. Come on. Like, what are we doing?
I think they will once this TV deal's done and they expand. I think Vegas and Seattle are going to be the next 2 NBA teams. Well, look at the Basketball Association following the NHL to Vegas and to Seattle.
Yeah, not the first NHL, first one in the door in both of those cities in terms of indoor arena sports. I mean,
obviously the Sonics were there for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, they were gone. I mean, they're gone. They left. I mean, because David Stern wanted his buddy that owns the Thunder to have a team, so they found a weak excuse to move him, and that was that.
And by the way, we talked yesterday on Total Hockey Now about the Kraken and like, well, what are they doing? And Elliot Freeman made a good point. They know the Sonics are coming. Like they know the Kraken need to remain relevant, so this is what they're doing. They're trying to remain relevant.
I think because they came back, if the Sonics had come back before the Kraken, I think the Kraken would have had a real tough time maintaining the popularity, because like you said, once the Sonics come back, it's going to be like all hell's going to break loose. People have missed that team for decades because they were there first, because they did have that playoff run last year. I think they'll be okay, but it's going to be awesome when the Sonics come back. Kemp, my all-time favorite player for sure. Loved him as a kid. And of course, Shaquille O'Neal. They always love to get a Shaq card. Close out a pack there. Team USA 1994. Looking young. Looking real young there.
Yeah. Looking young. Looking jacked. Actually looking a little slim there. Good for him.
I just thought of was that scene from basketball. And like, no, Shaq got paid at LSU. Everybody knows that.
No, what I thought of was the picture of Shaq wearing that Devils jersey that was way too tight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now I mean he could have worn that Devils jersey back in 1994 and it would have fit. It would have probably snug, but it probably would have fit.
I'm sure you'll make a short of this, so we'll find the picture and we'll use it for him. But like the only jersey they had that fit him was like an old Andre Ponikarovsky jersey that was lying around the bowels of the Prudential Center, and he just walks out to the crowd, and it's a couple sizes too small. And I'm not saying Shaq's a fat guy, like he's just a big guy because it's Shaquille O'Neal, but they didn't do him any favors with that one.
That's also the highlight of Alex Ponikarovsky's career, is having Shaquille O'Neal wear his jersey.
That and Adam Henrique stealing his goal in Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Final. It could have been Ponty's goal.
Yeah, could have been. But here we are. Shaq in the jersey. Very nice stuff. But that's a good way to close out the packs there, especially after my hockey card. And now I know. And now I know to not get hyped up anymore for that. Or if I'm just going to take the whole box with me when I go to Papa J to go get my free packs next year.
No, I think the key for doing those packs moving forward is just do one on a show. Only do one.
I think the key for picking the packs is to maybe, instead of trying to like outsmart the box and just like spread it out, just try and grab like 5 in a row, because maybe they pack them in a way where they're not repetitive. But I don't know. Nonetheless, good packs pulled today. Hockey cards 2023-24 Upper Deck Extended, Upper Deck Hockey Extended Series from Jared. I had the hockey card, not 2022 National Hockey Day packs, and then the 1994 Skybox Team USA packs. But it's a 4th of July edition of Rip and Riff here, the eve of Independence Day. Let's face it, nothing's more American than baseball. So we got to do a baseball starting lineup, figure 5 today. And Jared, of course, is going to have 5 questions to figure out the starting lineup. And without further ado.
All right, let me ask a different question off the top, because we don't normally do this. And I have a feeling the answer to this question will be yes, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Is this player an American?
Oh, yeah, he's American.
All right.
As apple pie.
As American as apple pie.
Not the one from the movie American Pie.
Of course, yeah. We don't want to mix those two up. Is this player in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yes, he is. I guess we'll just tell your mother we ate the whole thing.
Is this player a World Series champion?
Yes. But you may not remember him as a World Series champion.
Ooh, all right, that's interesting.
Way to go.
Did this player win an MVP during his career?
Twice.
Oh boy, I had a guess, but I don't know if he won it twice.
He's got 2 questions to narrow it down.
I do. Is this player an infielder?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, now I'm just trying to think of like 90s MVPs.
Well, and maybe he may have not won his MVPs in the 90s. I will say that.
No, of course, but did this player
only one came in the 90s?
Did this player primarily play in the American League?
He sure did.
Okay.
With one team. So there you go. You've asked your questions. You've burnt them out. It's time to guess.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna get this one. I'm not really feeling all that confident. Because I feel like you won an MVP in the 80s, the way you phrased that, in addition to winning one in the 90s. Or maybe one in the 90s, one in the 2000s. But now I'm thinking about like early 2000s MVPs. It's obviously not Barry Bonds. It's not 2000. There's all the steroid guys, but I don't think it's one of them. Is it Frank Thomas? I didn't think so.
So the reason I'm bringing this guy up is he was somebody that was part of a starting lineup studio audience, and you made reference to how the bat was being held in his hand looked like something else. So you made me go out and get a different Cal Ripken Jr. You said get one of him fielding instead, and here he is fielding. So yes, 1983 World Series champion and MVP in '83 as well. So that's why I said I don't think you would have thought of him as an MVP.
He won 2 MVPs.
He did. He won 80. Let's see here. He won them in 83 and 91.
91. Okay. All right. Yeah. Both of them a little bit before my time, but I guess that's why I knew he won 1. I didn't realize he won 2. But yeah, Cal Ripken, one of the all-time greats. What else can you say about him?
Yeah, I for me, even though I was a Yankee fan growing up, when I started Little League, my glove was a Cal Ripken Jr. one because that's what the store had. The bat was a Cal Ripken Jr. bat. The team, my very first team, was the Orioles. So like it just all lined up. So Ripken's that guy for me for sure. And we got to work with him a little bit at Sirius XM as well.
I'm mad I didn't get it.
What I thought you might have pulled it out of your ear, but then when you started going down the 2000s one, I'm like, no, he's off. If you had gone the other direction, maybe you would have had it.
Yeah, I was just drawing a blank on former MVPs, especially ones who won more than one. And I know Thomas won one, but I think he only won one.
I believe that is correct. Now, before we wrap things up here, we do have to talk about who we thought had the best pull of the day. We will come up with a better name for that, but that's all we got right now is who had the stronger pullout game. Ripping packs, of course. And for me, I mean, it's going to be easy for me. It's going to be the last one of the day because anytime you could get a Shaquille O'Neal card, I mean, that's it right there. That's going to go in a top loader, and that's going to be a nice one. And if maybe that's missing from someone's Shaquille O'Neal collection that I can flip one day. So nonetheless, going to go with Shaq there for my, pull out of the day.
Yeah, I think you might win it again this week just because nobody that I pulled out here really pops out. I mean, I do love the Markstrom card that I pulled.
That's a good one.
And this one's just an interesting card, the first Zach Benson card, just because of the way it's cut. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm going to go with Big Diesel.
Big Diesel helps me to 2-0 on the stronger pullout game. We'll see who wins next week. Maybe he'll have a new name, but I don't know. We'll see. But nonetheless, I thought we had a nice little show today. We talked. We talked. We had a nice I Love Lucy. We pulled some good hockey cards, some good basketball cards. I'm satisfied with that episode.
I bought a card live on the show.
I mean, we really covered all the bases for all your card collecting needs here on Rip and Riff. But we are back here on Wednesdays after a week off. We're at a new time now. We're going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. So set your alarms for that. And please, of course, give us a rate, review, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook for what it's worth. But for at Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. We'll be back with you next Wednesday with an all-new episode of Rip and Riff here on the Rip and Riff Twitter and YouTube network.
Farewell.
Adios.